Hey guys, it's Brent here. I'm back with another way to improve battle power. So today I want to talk about chips. This is going to reference some other things and I'll make some other videos on those things, but let's get into it. So chips are going to be one of the most important ways to gain battle power. If I show you, oh man, I keep clicking the wrong thing. If I take off Deku's chips right now, that was 13, 16, 16,000-ish battle power. So, granted, you know, Deku for me, I've focused on those chips quite a bit. For a character that I don't have overclocked or necessarily with the best chips, say Ojiro, one chip is about half as effective. Not bad though. If you're like me, so I was going for the top hero, the total BP ranking in my server. I was that was my goal. I was aiming for that for a while. It doesn't give you a title or a boost or anything. It was just for my honor. But that's why I never play Ojiro, but I have level 16 chips on him because that extra 3,000 BP affected my total ranking, right? It also helps with hero ratings, which I'll talk about somewhere else. So it is good to have your power spread around. Anyway,
I'm excited to be part of the world.
Your chips come in 6 different levels, different stars, right? I sold all of my 1, 2, and 3-star chips. They honestly are useless once you have the ability to get higher stars. You're going to want these character-specific chips on your characters. You'll get, 4-star, 5-star, and 6-star. Obviously, the more stars, the better, but the 6 stars are pretty hard to get early game. But once you can get them, that's where you want to be focusing. So I talked in another video about joint operations. This gives you a chance at a 5-star chip, or on hard, you could also get a 6-star chip. But the real place you're going to get those is Night Ops, and I'll talk about Night Ops in its own video. But just know that that's where you're going to want to go to get chips, and you'll also get the material to level up your chips. So, again, chip levels are important, but what really matters is the stats on your chips. So, the best stat, I would argue for every character, is their specific stat. Deku is a speed unit, so I want speed on his chips. Now, the flip side of that coin is power is completely useless. Technical is also useless. So, if I have a chip like this that has power and technical, this chip is not viable. So the first thing you want to look for is their specific stat. Now, the next thing is offensive stats, like crit. This one has penetration, crit damage. Anything offensive is solid on a chip. That's not gonna... You're not always looking for the same thing. So I don't have great chips on Dabi, but I have a penetration stat here. That's good for BP because it is still an offensive stat, and offensive stats raise BP. But with Dabi, you don't really need penetration. And I'll talk more about that when I do Dabi's video, but he has skills that kind of circumnavigate the need for breaking through their shields. So it's not always the same.
I'm excited to be.
And, you know, there are some specific pieces of advice I'll try to give. But in general, you want to be focusing on offensive stats. The next thing to keep in mind is a level 1 chip. I have one on Tokoyami. So this level 1 chip has 4 stats. Some only have 3. If it has 4, it is, I believe, just better in that it has more stats. You'll have 1 more than any other chip. Like 1 more stat level, I guess. But this particular chip is terrible because I have tenacity, which is a defensive stat, and I have technical, which is not Tokoyami's trait. So I haven't bothered to level it up. If I did, I can just use these EXP chips. These 3-star ones I get from Night Ops, or you can use any other chip. Now, if I use this level 16 chip, that bumps me all the way to level 14 because you get back, I want to say 80% of the EXP invested. The most important thing here is this extra stats menu. So when you get a chip to level 4, 7, 10, 13, and 16, you either level up a stat. So any of these could be level 2. It's completely random. Or you get a new stat. So if you only have 3, you could get a 4th. There are definite problems with the way that works. This one worked out well for me. Penetration 3, speed 4, solid. Here, obviously, I never would have leveled up power, but it's random. You could get a solid chip that only has 3 stats, and then the 4th one, when you level it up, it starts putting points into something useless. So the stat or the chip grind is real. You can't transfer stats. You just have to farm for the chip with the stats that you want and level it up and hope that points go into good stats. That's kind of a never-ending journey. I wouldn't recommend, well, if you're farming and you happen to get a 6-star for somebody, that's, you know, that you, whether you play them or not, if you get a good 6-star chip, like perhaps this Ojiro chip, power, penetration, and crit, pretty solid. So I could, you know, see if that compares to the one that I have on him now, which is speed, crit damage. So this one has more offensive stats, but it has speed. So I'll switch it out. I'll get a little power boost. And if I'm, you know, if I have the materials to spare, I'll level it up. But don't worry too much about farming chips for the characters that you don't really play. But, you know, getting them to level 16 and all that. Wait until you've got solid chips on the characters that you like. For example, I do want to replace this chip if I can find something better with more speed. This chip just to get rid of the power, but right, power and damage reduction, so that's 2 wasted levels. All the other levels went to speed, so it's still pretty solid, but it could be better. So you're kind of gonna just keep farming. That's where most of my stamina goes these days. Now the other way to strengthen chips is overclocking. So every level you need these overclock circuits. So it goes up to 5 levels. For the first level you need 1, the second is 3, and the third is 6, which totals out to 10. After that, you need 10 of the small ones and 1 of these ultimate circuits. After that, you need 15 and 1. So I believe that's 35 of the small ones and 2 of the big ones for each chip for each character. Sorry, for each chip slot. So what that means is if I do, so this chip is worse, right? But if I do switch this out, it stays at overclock 4. So that is nice. Each overclock level gives you a percentage increase. I believe 1 is 10%, 2 is 25, 3 is maybe 50, and then 4 is 70, and 5 is 100%. So that increases the stats, the inherent, the base stats, and the extra stats by that percentage. These give you pretty huge bonuses.
I'm excited.
So the way that you get those, and again, I'll talk about this mode separately too, but you get them through Team Up. Team Up is a mode that needs 9 players, and these are your potential rewards. On easy, you get 10 of these battle honors. An overclock circuit is possible, and an ultimate circuit is not. On elite, these two are possible. Mind you, the ultimate is very rare, and not everyone gets an overclock circuit, but you are guaranteed 20 battle honor. And on hard, you're guaranteed 30. This is more likely, but still very rare, and this is still not guaranteed. But your battle honor can be used in the shop. I would never buy these factors. You can get factors other ways. Don't waste your squad coins on them. You can save up for ultimate circuits, which are 1,000, or you can buy overclock circuits. It depends on who you're strengthening, what you need. I like to save up a lot for characters. I also tend to wait until I get a good drop and get an ultimate circuit, and then I'll just drop a bunch on these little circuits. But it really is, it just depends on what you're doing. So that's how you get everything that you need to level up chips. That's also kind of the stats you're generally looking for are penetration, crit damage, their specific stat, anything offensive, the things that you generally want to avoid, stats that don't relate to them, damage reduction, tenacity, crit res rate. I don't like any of those on chips. And that's pretty much it. So chips are a very important way to increase battle power. They're obtained through Night Ops. You can also obtain them through the Night Ops shop. When you play enough Night Ops, you get these badges. So 6-star is gold, I believe this is silver, and 4-star is iron. And you can use the badges to pick any chip. If you pick a character, so okay, let's see. So I can say I want a new Izuku Midoriya chip. So I pick him, and I buy the chip, and then I get to pick which one. And I want an expansion, so I'll take that. Now the problem is, I can pull it up. This one has crit res rate, damage reduction, tenacity, and speed. I like the speed, but all of these are defensive. So I don't consider this a great chip. I kind of just wasted a badge. Like I said, the farm is real here, but it is an important way to strengthen your specific characters and to have them grow. So keep at it, keep at 9-man and Night Ops, and eventually you'll start seeing some results. So thank you for taking the time to listen. If you have any questions about chips or anything that you want to see coming up, let me know. And I look forward to next time.